Hello, lovely friends and fashion lovers. Welcome and welcome back. In today's tutorial, I'll show you how to make this lovely double-layered umbrella baby dress. My name is Esther. If you're here for the first time, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you get notified each time I upload a new video. Thank you. For this tutorial, I used a satin fabric, a lining, and horsehair braid is optional, and feathers for the sleeve, then a zipper. A link to how to draft a basic bodice will be in the description box so that you draft to the size of your child. So right now, I'm going to make some adjustment to the back bodice. So I'm going to adjust the neck line so you can use your preferred neckline. Now that the neckline is adjusted, I am going to go ahead and draw a guideline for the skirt. I'm going to take the measurement of my basic bodice, but my basic bodice has a seaming allowance. So if yours has a seaming allowance like mine, you would want to either overlap it or you fold it out of the way like so, because you will be seaming it off. So I'm just going to fold mine out of the way and take the measurement, and this measurement includes the zipper allowance. If that sounds confusing, you have to skip this step. Go ahead and finish off your bodice, and when you're done with seaming your bodice, you will take the waist measurements of your bodice, including zipper allowance. So here I am measuring half my bodice waist. This is half my bodice. So to have a full waist measurement, you multiply half my bodice by 2 to have your full bodice waist. If you have your waist measurement already with you, go ahead and divide your waist measurement by 6.28 to have your skirt radius. Whatever answer you have after dividing your skirt waist measurement by 6.28, do well to subtract 1 from your answer. On my screen is a breakdown of how I did my own calculation and the measurement I used. So whatever answer you have is your radius. Go ahead and mark your radius at this right angle that you probably have marked out, just the way I'm doing. You could use a French curve, a curved ruler, whatever curve edge you can lay your hand on to curve out this line, or you can use your free hand. At this point, the skirt template is ready, so I'm just cutting it out. To avoid confusion, I am going to go ahead and just label it as the skirt radius. So after labeling it, we are set to cut our fabric. So using this pattern, I am going to cut my fabric. So here I have folded my fabric for the skirt lengthwise, and this is the folded part, and I'm folding it again widthwise. So you want to make sure that your fold over accommodate your skirt length and your radius. If yours is okay like mine is okay, I'm just going to secure my umbrella template or circle skirt template. So right here I am going to put the length of my skirt plus seaming and hemming allowance, which I'm using 1 inch for that. So my skirt length plus seaming and hemming allowance. So I'm just marking it out So you can just follow the circle this way and mark it out like I'm doing, or you can just get the point and start from the beginning and continue from the point that you got. Secure the upper part of your tape in place and go ahead and mark. You want to do this marking with your tape at a fixed point, one part of your tape as a fixed point. Then you can go ahead and connect using your French curve or some curved ruler or your freehand like me. After that, cut it out. So you can see how easy it is to make a circle skirt. So after cutting it out, do well to notch. You want to notch so that you can always make reference to your notch part. So I'm going to repeat the exact steps on this other one, but it's just that it's going to be 4 inches shorter than my main skirt. And I'm also cutting the lining as well the same way, but my lining this time is 1.5 inches shorter than my main skirt. So after that, I'm going to cut the side of my skirt like this for all 3 pieces. Use my pattern and cut my bodice as well. So note that the center front is cut on fold while you cut 2 pieces for the back. And I'm using the same fabric as my lining. So here is my pieces, both for my main fabric and as my lining. And I have marked where I want my sleeve to stop and I've notched it on my bodice pieces. So I'm just going to quickly open it up like so. So you want to place your front and back, making sure that the right side are facing each other. Sew them at the shoulder. After sewing it at the shoulder, you remember the notch part that I had notched while cutting out my bodice. I am going to use my feathers that I'm using for sleeve and I'll place it right there. So you want to do well to secure it. Go ahead and seam it in place. After seaming it in place, place your lining on your main fabric right side facing. You want to go ahead and match the shoulder seam and pin to secure the shoulder and the neckline in place. And you'll sew the neckline. You also want to do well to pin and secure the armhole as well in place. After pinning and securing, do well to stitch the armhole, the neckline, and the other armhole. After stitching the armhole and the neckline, do well to notch. Be careful not to cut the seam. After notching, tuck your bodice through the shoulder, open it up. You want to pull it out gently. Be careful so that you don't rip off the feathers or the sleeve at this point. Now you want to repeat the same step for the other side and pull it out to bring right side out. So you want to do well to understitch the armhole and the neckline and give it a nice press, after which you place right sides together, fabric to fabric, lining to lining. Just stitch your bodice by the side, and then your bodice is ready. So it's time to bring in our skirt. Remember that we cut open one side of our skirt, which will serve as the center back, and this is the lining that we are cut open as well. So you just put the two layers of the skirt. You're going to place your bodice right side facing. Go ahead and pin and secure it in place. If you did the right thing, everything should match up nicely without having excess. So now that it's been, go ahead and stitch that in place. Only the fashion fabric to the fashion fabric skirt. Now to the lining part, you want to take note that your can, this can is optional. Want to make sure if you're using the can is at least 1 inch shorter than your lining. It should be at least 1 inch shorter than your lining. You want to go ahead and pleat it along the waistline, and this is how it looks after I've pleated it along the waistline. I am going to go ahead and place it to the lining of the dress, right side facing as well, and stitch that down. So you can see I've stitched it down, and I've even closed the center back of the skirt. So right now it's time to add the crinoline. It's time to stitch the crinoline to the hem of the dress. My crinoline is 3 inches, so you stitch on the right side, you flip it over to the wrong side. After that, you attach the zipper at the back. So I have a zipper tutorial. I use mostly invisible zipper. So I have a zipper tutorial. The link will be in the description box. So after that is done, this is the finished look. The crinoline is attached to it, and the lining sewn, as well as the zipper. So this is how it looks on the outside, and on the inside, this is how it looks. So at this point that our dress is ready, you can go ahead and add some bling to it the way you would love to. If this tutorial was helpful, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.